Hi and welcome to my channel. If you are new around here, my name is Nikki and I am a third-year homeschooling mom to 5 little boys. This video is going to be all about Horizons math. I have been asked a lot about what we are using this year in lieu of the good and the beautiful, and I am here finally to share all about Horizons math, my personal opinion and review of it, and how it is working in our homeschool. So very quickly, I want to give a brief rundown of the curriculums that we have used in the past for math and how we came to using Horizons. When my oldest son started kindergarten, we started off in Singapore math. That was too dry and just too slow for us, so we quit that. And the rest of his kindergarten year, I kind of just pieced together things to make sure that he was gaining a full kindergarten knowledge of math. When he started first grade, I tried a curriculum called Math Made Fun. I still would recommend that curriculum. It just didn't work for us because there was a lot of prep on my end and I simply did not have time to invest in prepping that much for that curriculum. And after we tried Math Made Fun, that is what took me to the Good and the Beautiful math. I loved the curriculum, but it was a little too slow. It required a lot on my end as the teacher. It was very teacher-led and there were just too many manipulatives, like too many things to like piece together to make a lesson, and it was taking too long. So then finally at the beginning of this school year, I knew that we had to try something else. This is the 4th math curriculum that we have tried over the years, and I think it's safe to say that we have finally found the one that works for us. So we have done kindergarten, 1st grade, and my oldest son is currently working through 2nd grade. We are still working our way through 2nd grade because my son is currently in 2nd grade, so we have not completed the 2nd grade curriculum, but he is finishing up book 1 right now. So I feel like I can safely say what that curriculum includes and my opinion of it. So first off, this is what the curriculum looks like. It is a basic workbook style curriculum. Nothing is included. It is just a workbook. This is all that you need to do this curriculum. This all comes with. You can purchase the teacher guides, but I have not needed that so far. However, I have read from other reviews and other parents that starting in 3rd grade is usually when the teacher guide comes in more handy, so I will likely purchase the teacher guide for level 3, grade 3 and up. But as it stands right now, I have not needed the teacher's guide. The very first thing that I will tell you about Horizons math after doing it for this school year so far, it is a much faster paced math than what we have done in the past. I would consider it a more advanced math compared to the other ones that we have used. It is a true spiral method. Once a concept is taught, it is continually brought up over and over and over again. And that is something that I personally like in this curriculum. I think that it helps to build confidence and mastery in those concepts that your child is learning. One thing that I have loved about this is it is super colorful and it's just not as dry and boring as some of the other curriculums that we have used in the past. Specifically, the kindergarten version is very colorful. There's lots of little pictures and coloring involved in the kindergarten curriculum. Another thing that I have really loved about this curriculum is that it is very easy to expand on certain concepts that either you personally feel like your child needs or what you want them to learn more of, or if your child just needs a little bit more extra help, it is very easy to use your own things to expand on a concept. For example, one thing that is taught a lot in Horizons Math is the base 10 method. Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands. And I wanted them to expand on that a little bit more, especially as they were first learning it, because that is something that they did not learn a whole lot of prior to this. So I created a simple little sheet for them in Canva. I printed it, laminated it, and so they have used this, some base 10 blocks that I got off of Amazon, a dry erase marker, and I would just have them build it out here and then write it out, simply just to give them a little bit more practice with expanding it and visually seeing it. And that has helped them understand the concept a lot more. And so now they can easily see one of the problems that they have to do, and they don't have to expand it as much anymore. They understand it better. But that's what I have liked, is if I feel like they need a little bit more work, or I feel like it needs to be expanded upon a little bit more, we can do that, and there's room for that. It's not so time intensive for me to just add on a little bit of expansion to that lesson. Another thing that I like is you can use any manipulatives that you already have or anything that you want to include. So like in the kindergarten math, we used a lot of these cubes and the base 10 blocks. We have used these base 10 blocks a lot in kindergarten and the first grade levels. This curriculum is very affordable, and who doesn't love that? I have purchased it both from christianbook.com and Amazon, and it's about the same price. On christianbook.com, it ranges from $22 to $24 per book, and on Amazon, it's about $24 a book. So for the entire year, it costs under $50 for this curriculum. And for me, compared to some other curriculums, that is very affordable. So what I did at the beginning, because I wasn't sure if this was going to be something that we could continue to use, I just bought one book at a time. So I'd only spent I think I spent $24 for that first book for each student to try. And then I purchased the second book once I realized that this was going to be something we could continue to use and that they liked it. Again, just very affordable and not a huge expense. Aside from me really enjoying this, my kids also enjoy it. I asked them at the beginning of the year, after we had been doing it for a couple months, how they liked it compared to what we had done the previous year. And both of my boys said that they really, really liked this math. They love it. They love that they can do a lot of it without me. And that's another thing that I really enjoy, is I get to teach them the concepts when they first come up, and then they're able to work independently. And that was a game changer for me, because I had been using curriculums that were very teacher heavy, very teacher led. And in my season of life, like, that is very difficult for me. So finding Horizons and finding that my kids can do it very independently and at such a young age, that was a big deal. My boys are only 6 and 7, and they can do most of their lessons by themselves. That's huge. And not only can they do it on their own, but they have learned so much this year in math, and we're not even done yet. It's kind of mind-blowing compared to what they had learned the previous years. And that leads me into the next portion of what I wanted to talk about. After I reviewed The Good and the Beautiful Math and why we stopped using it, I was getting asked a lot what we are using this year and what wasn't taught in The Good and the Beautiful that Horizons has taught. Now, I want to preface this by saying This is not anything against the Good and the Beautiful. They're just different curriculums. They are written differently, and I fully believe that the Good and the Beautiful is still a comprehensive, really good math curriculum. They simply teach things in a much slower manner. Horizons is much more faster paced than that. So that's the very first noticeable difference. With Horizons, they are able to be much more independent, which I think is just a skill, just a life skill to be able to learn, to be able to do things independently. And that, again, has been a really big deal for me this year, and having them be able to do those things on their own has been wonderful. So in the kindergarten Horizons, they are taught money, time. The base 10 starts being taught at the very end of kindergarten, I believe. And they are already doing word problems in the kindergarten levels of Horizon. In the first grade level of Horizons, they start expanding more on money and time, and the base 10 more on that, on those word problems they start working on. And then they start doing double-digit addition and subtraction. And then in second grade, they're just doing more mastery on those, all of those concepts: money, time, addition and subtraction. They do start doing triple digit addition and subtraction. And then in the second grade, they start adding in multiplication. This is when multiplication starts coming in. We are not to that point yet, so I can't speak fully on what that looks like, but it is coming, and it is in the first half of second grade. So I wanted to share all of that with you first, because I wanted to show you a comparison of the Good and the Beautiful versus Horizons. And I'm using the Good and the Beautiful specifically just because that is where my experience lies, and that is where I have gotten the most questions about, is how does it compare? What are the things that weren't taught in the Good and the Beautiful versus Horizons? And again, I preface this in saying that they are just written in a different way, but I wanted to show you a comparison of what my son learned in the level 1 first grade, the Good and the Beautiful math, versus what he learned in Horizons level 1 first grade math. So here is a page that I printed off from the end of level 1, the Good and the Beautiful. And as you can see, it is basic addition and subtraction. This is at the very end of level 1 math, the Good and the Beautiful. And now I'm going to show you at the end. So here is book 2, the book 2 of level 1 in Horizons. And see, there's still a few more pages down here, but this is a really good example, I thought. This is at the end of Horizons. So as you can see, it is a huge difference in what is being taught. So like in Horizons at the end of level 1, they are learning, you know, they are doing triple digit addition and subtraction. They're doing word problems. Over here, they're writing out numbers, longer numbers. There's a huge emphasis on place value, and that's where the base 10 comes in. Whereas level 1 for the Good and the Beautiful is not doing that yet. I just want to continue to reiterate that they are just written differently. I know that all those things are still taught in the Good and the Beautiful, it's just at a later time. So this is where you have to use your discretion for your student, for your child. What will work better for them? If your child struggles with math, I would not recommend using Horizons. If your child is struggling, I would recommend a more gentle approach to math. The Good and the Beautiful is definitely where that comes in. I have heard and read reviews about master books also being a really good curriculum for a more gentle, slower approach to it. This is the thing, I don't think that there's a wrong or right way. I don't think there's a wrong or right method. I just think that it just is so dependent on what will work for your family, what will work for your child. And Horizons has been awesome for us so far. I can't say that I will use this curriculum for all of my kids, but so far that is what is working for both of my boys who are school aged, and that is what they will continue to do from now until Horizons ends. The other question that I was asked a lot is, what if we are switching from one curriculum, any math curriculum, to Horizons? What should we do? Should I start at their grade level or should I go backward? And I will say for us, what I did is I had them go back a year, and that was not, they weren't super fond of that at first, but now after seeing what was taught in the year prior's curriculum for them, so like my two sons are first and second grade this year, so I had them do kindergarten and first grade math starting at the beginning of the year. And I'm really, really glad I did that, because there are a lot of things that they hadn't learned yet that they learned in those first curriculums, and they wouldn't have been able to start at the grade level Horizons math. They wouldn't have been able to start confidently and well if they had just started at first and second grade this year. So I would definitely recommend, if you are switching from a curriculum to Horizons, to start backward, to go backward a grade. It doesn't even have to be a whole grade level, but maybe like the second half. So like if you're gonna switch now, I would say go back like half a year. I went back a full year because we were starting at the beginning of the school year, and my gut just told me we needed to do that, and I'm really glad that we did, because again, it wouldn't have gone well otherwise. But I have a friend who recently switched from master books to Horizons, and she just went back half a year. So she had her daughter go back, she's currently in second grade, so she had her do the second book of first grade math at Horizons to kind of get her caught up and up to speed, and that has been working really well for them. For this year, we will not finish by the end of the school year. So my first grade son, he will likely finish pretty much on time. So he will have done an entire year of kindergarten math and an entire year of first grade math, likely by the end of May. Now my second grade son will not. So what I had him do is he started first grade math at the beginning of the school year, and he went through the first and the second book. We were nearing the end of this book actually, and we stopped with about this much left, because I kind of looked through the beginning of the second grade book and he was ready to just move on. So he didn't completely finish the second book of first grade, he just moved on. But for him, for going forward, he is not on the second book of his second grade curriculum yet. So what we will likely do is finish out the school year just as is, and I will probably have him do a page of math every other day or so through the summer, just to make sure that all of those concepts that are in that second grade math are in there, that he is ready to move on. And if he's not, we will just continue with his second grade curriculum until he is ready to move on. Another thing that I wanted to say is, from kindergarten and first grade levels, the jump from there to the second grade math, the workload is a lot more. There's a lot more problems. There's a lot more involved. So when they were doing kinder and first grade levels, I would have them do like a few pages at a time because it wouldn't take them very long. But now that he is in this level, in level 2, there is a lot more work involved on his end. So he only does just one lesson, and one lesson in Horizons is usually, I'll show you, it is just one front page and one back page. That's one lesson. So he does one lesson a day, that's it. So to recap really quickly, Horizons Math is wonderful. I highly recommend it. I am so glad that we made the switch. It has made our homeschool so much better and just easier going. It has allowed for more independence in my boys. It has given me a little bit more freedom to work more exclusively with one student or another. It has made math not so stressful for us. Last year, it just was a drag, and it hasn't felt like that at all this year. And I am so happy and just so thankful that we finally found a math curriculum that works for us. So that is it. That is my review of Horizons Math. If you have tried Horizons and you like it or you don't like it, please let me know down below. It's very interesting to me. I love to hear others' feedback on their experience with the curriculums that we're using. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you liked it, just give it a big old thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one.
The world could fall down, it's gonna be okay. The sun could go out, we're gonna be